Today, Australia stands among the most prosperous and highly developed nations in the world. It offers excellent standards in education, healthcare, and income levels. Combined with a relaxed and easygoing lifestyle, this has created one of the highest qualities of life globally. Major cities like Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Perth, and Adelaide consistently rank among the most livable cities due to their stability, infrastructure, culture, and environment. Life expectancy is also very high, with men living on average over 81 years and women around 85 years. But this level of prosperity is a relatively recent development. Just over 150 years ago, life in Australia was vastly different. In the late 19th century, the average lifespan was barely in the mid-30s, and survival often depended on harsh physical labor in a challenging environment. This was largely because early European Australia functioned as a penal colony, where British convicts were sent to serve sentences while establishing settlements. The Universe documentary presents the story of how Australia transformed from a remote punishment colony into one of the most desirable places to live. For tens of thousands of years, around 65,000, Australia had already been inhabited by humans. The first settlers arrived from Southeast Asia during the last ice age, eventually spreading across the continent. These early inhabitants became the ancestors of Aboriginal Australians, forming hundreds of distinct groups, each with its own language, culture, and territory. For countless generations, Aboriginal societies lived in relative isolation. This changed dramatically during the Age of Exploration between the 15th and 17th centuries, when European nations began venturing across the globe. At the time, some European thinkers believed a vast southern landmass must exist to balance the continents of the Northern Hemisphere, a place they called Terra Australis. In the early 1600s, Dutch explorers became the first Europeans to document parts of Australia's coastline. Navigators like Willem Janssen, Dirk Hartog, and later Abel Tasman mapped sections of the land, with Tasman also discovering Tasmania and New Zealand. The Dutch named the land New Holland, but they showed little interest in settling it, focusing instead on profitable trade routes in Asia. European interest in Australia was revived in the 18th century during voyages led by British explorer Captain James Cook. In 1770, Cook reached the eastern coast and claimed it for Britain, naming it New South Wales. His report suggested the land could support settlement. Events elsewhere soon made colonization necessary. After losing the American colonies in the late 18th century, Britain needed a new destination to send its convicts. In 1787, the first fleet set sail, carrying over 1,000 people. They arrived in 1788 and established the first settlement at Sydney Cove under Governor Arthur Phillip. Over time, more convicts and free settlers arrived, gradually forming a growing population. As the colony expanded, new settlements appeared across the continent, including Hobart, Brisbane, Perth, Melbourne, and Adelaide. These developments helped Britain secure control over the land and limit French ambitions in the region. However, colonization came at a devastating cost to Aboriginal populations. European diseases such as smallpox, influenza, and measles spread rapidly, causing massive population declines among indigenous communities. Cultural misunderstandings and competition for land also led to violent conflicts, known as the Frontier Wars, which lasted for decades. Despite these challenges, the colonies continued to grow. By the mid-19th century, increasing numbers of free settlers arrived from Europe. The discovery of gold in the 1850s triggered a massive gold rush, attracting people from around the world and dramatically increasing the population. This period also led to demands for fair governance and representation, shaping Australia's democratic foundations. Economic expansion followed, with the growth of cities, industries, and infrastructure. At the same time, a unique national identity began to emerge. By 1901, the 6 colonies united to form the Commonwealth of Australia, becoming a self-governing nation within the British Empire. Early policies, such as the White Australia policy, restricted non-European immigration, reflecting the racial attitudes of the time. However, these policies would later be dismantled as the country evolved. Australia's role in global events, particularly the 2 world wars, further shaped its identity. Australian soldiers gained a reputation for bravery, especially during campaigns like Gallipoli in World War I. After World War II, Australia shifted its alliances closer to the United States and welcomed large waves of immigrants, helping to fuel economic growth. In the second half of the 20th century, Australia became increasingly multicultural. Efforts were also made to address historical injustices faced by Indigenous Australians, beginning a long process of reconciliation. Modern Australia reflects this complex history. Landmarks like the Sydney Opera House and global events such as the 2000 Olympics showcased the nation's progress to the world. Today, it is known for its stability, diversity, and high standard of living. From its origins as an isolated penal colony to its current status as a thriving modern nation, Australia's journey is a powerful example of transformation shaped by resilience, migration, and change.